The contract of purchase and sale for a property in British Columbia. This is going to be tough for me to get through in 2 minutes. So this is a summary. This page is actually not part of the contract, but is a list of definitions that's super important for you to understand. What is a contract? What is a deposit, and why is it an important piece of the contract of purchase and sale? It also goes through additional customary costs that are going to be borne by both the seller and the buyer, and that each understands. The seller, for instance, may be responsible for paying commissions. They may have legal fees. There may be costs that are incurred in clearing title. The buyer, on the other hand, will also have legal fees. There may be costs of them securing their mortgage. And again, in British Columbia, there's a good old property transfer tax associated above and beyond the purchase unless you are exempt. On page 1 of the actual contract of purchase and sale is where you are putting down your offer. Is it an opening offer, or is it a one-time take it or leave it type offer? You need to think that through carefully, and as well along with it, the deposit. The deposit too may be due upon reviewing the contract. It may be within 24 hours of acceptance, or it may be within 24 or 48 hours of subject removal. So on page 1, you need to be very careful and aware of what your offer is and what the deposit is and when it is due. The next page is your terms and conditions. This is where if you have any questions or concerns, you need to list them under the terms and conditions along with the time you believe it'll take you to satisfy those questions. So common terms would be 1, reviewing title. Is there anything about title that could restrict your enjoyment? Is there a restrictive covenant? Is there a building scheme, etc.? You may want time to look at the property disclosure statement, that snapshot provided by the sellers of the condition of their home. You may need time to secure that the mortgage is appropriate, that you're satisfied with the terms and conditions of the mortgage, and also to do a professional home inspection. There's a long list of questions that you may need satisfying under your terms and conditions. Be sure to list every one of them along with the time frame you think is appropriate for you to satisfy those conditions. On the next page, you're going to list the completion, possession, and adjustment dates. Now, on completion date, that's the day that title gets transferred to you and the funds are also transferred to the seller or to the seller's lawyer. Now, sometimes that is the same day you take possession, but often it's not. Often there's a day or so in between. So the day of possession is the day you take your keys and you get possession of the home. Often that's the same day that there is adjustment. So the adjustments would be to do with if the seller, say, had prepaid the property taxes. There needs to be a little bit of mitigation there where funds that might be still owing to the seller are given back to the seller. Also, your inclusions, be very clear. Along with your purchase price, what are you expecting to be included in the home? Are they the appliances? Is there window treatment? Be very specific. Remember, do not assume. You know what that word breaks down to. So assume nothing. List everything you expect to be included as well as excluded from your purchase. The following page goes back through again the list of definitions. That your contract is plural, that it is applicable to also your family and your heirs, that your personal information will be disclosed. Also, it discusses the option to assign, that do you want at the time of completion to add a spouse or add a family member to this purchase. So very important, page 2, to review what those terms mean to you. In the final page, you are going to disclose if you're working with an agent and the brokerage involved with the agents, both on the buying and on the selling side, and the amount of time you are giving the seller to accept your contract and your conditions and or create changes or a counter offer. Now, hopefully you've written a lovely offer that makes tons of sense and the seller is quite happy to sign on as is, and you can move ahead with satisfying your conditions. If you have any questions or I can help you in any way, don't hesitate to email me, Cheryl Soleway at gmail.com. Thank you.